morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whenever it is you're tuning in. Welcome to Ticket Price, the show where we ask the hard-hitting questions, are these movies any good, and are they worth your money? I am Jake. If you're new to the show, bear with me. If you're a regular listener, I may not be quite as amped up as I normally am. I'm on some new medicine, and it makes me a little bit on the sleepy side. Apparently, you can't get overly worked up if they just medically induce you in some kind of, comatose-esque state. Yeah. It's real hard to get amped up. But I'm Jake, and that's enough about my problems. With me as always, co-host extraordinaire, editor of the show, and the only man who has been described by friend and foe alike as having a Manson-esque charisma. Tevis at Master Control. Tevis, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm just waiting for all my followers to get back. I sent them on a deed.
They had to run some errands, did they?
Yeah.
Well, you ought to have them come in here and clean some of this garbage up a little bit. This room is trash.
They got other shit to do.
Oh,
Happy Valentine's Day. How's everything going?
oh, that's right. It's our Valentine's Day edition.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Manson. We're talking about love. We are talking about being together with the one who's most special to you, which is why I'm here with Tevis today.
Man, I feel sorry for you.
Damn it! I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it.
Yeah, my wife's real unhappy about this too. She'll get over it though. She'll be all right.
You're like, here are your flowers. I gotta go.
I pulled a Walter Matthau. I just got the chocolates out of the top of the closet, brushed the dust off of it, and I was like, Happy Valentine's Day.
Give her a half-eaten box.
Yeah, but I ate all the good ones already.
And took bites out of the shitty ones.
I spit the bad ones back out and put them in there.
Absolutely.
If you look, all the ridges are just slightly rounded. From where I was,
Man, you have a lucky wife.
I know, right? I hope she's listening to this episode and knows just how lucky she is that she's married to all of this magnificence.
She knows. She knows.
All right. And to the future Tevis, Mrs. Tevis out there, who I believe is Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, God, we can only hope.
Jen, we know you listen. We know you're a regular.
I would give her a brand new box of chocolates.
The
plastic on it and everything.
Not only would you take her name, she's getting a brand new, still wrapped in the cellophane box of chocolates.
Russell Stovers, too. Nothing but
Whoa!
the best.
That's love right there.
I know.
So, Jen, may I call you Jen? I feel like you're going to be my friend's wife. I should be able to call you Jen. I'll call you both Jen. He's taking your name, if I recall. Hit us up. Get in touch with Tevis. You'll like him. He's a good guy. Just don't feed him after midnight and all that stuff.
I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say anything.
He has a Manson-esque charisma that you may find appealing.
Without the X in my head.
Yet.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
What are we doing?
I have no idea.
We're asking Jennifer Connelly out for you.
Oh, we're doing a movie. We're doing a movie podcast.
We're talking about movies.
Yes.
And our Valentine's Day movie, which now in hindsight, and we'll get into it, might not have been the best pick. We are looking at Where the Crawdads Sing.
It was lovey-ish.
There was, in fact, a love story in it. Yeah. Okay. Movie made 2022. Written by Delia Owens and Lucy Alabar. Obviously based off the book, Where the Crawdads Sing. Directed by Olivia Newman. Seinfeld reference.
I wouldn't know.
Starring Daisy Edgar Jones and Taylor John Smith. Now, Daisy Edgar Jones. There's a hyphen with Edgar Jones. So it's her last name. Daisy Edgar Jones, right? It's fine.
Okay.
Taylor John Smith. All right? There is only two reasons you go by all three names. And you're either a serial killer or you've assassinated a high-ranking public official. Those are the only reasons you go by all three names. So, Taylor, who've you killed?
And it's John Smith?
Taylor John Smith. Yep.
That is like the lamest last name.
It's like when we go back to our Chris Columbus conversation. Like, why? Why did they do that?
Can you have more of a vanilla last name? Like two of them. You have two vanilla names put together.
Well, no, I believe John is a middle name.
Yeah, but I mean, sorry, both names are still vanilla. Have something really cool like Tevis.
Jennifer
Yeah, my name is Tevis Jennifer
Connolly. Fingers crossed, Jen. We know
Here's
you're
hoping.
listening.
You know, Russell Stover's in your future.
Oh yeah, reeling them in, reeling her in. Just dangle that Russell Stover's bait. No, I'm just throwing that out there. Don't go by all three names. Just if you want to use your middle name instead of your first name, that's fine. But either do middle last or first and last. Don't do all three unless you are a serial killer or an assassin.
Maybe he's striving to be. Maybe he's got goals.
You know what? Maybe he does have
Maybe
goals.
this 2024 is going to be his year, and we'll see.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. All right. Moving on.
Have you seen either one of these two in anything?
No.
Okay. I have not either.
No. Nope.
Neither one of them popped up on my radar as far as movies go. The one who played Chase, I can't remember his name.
I don't remember.
But he actually plays one of the Von Erichs in The Claw.
Oh, okay.
The Iron Claw.
Does he still talk like Forrest Gump?
I don't know.
We'll get into that because I have something for him. I have something for Chase.
Is he an award recipient?
Maybe.
Oh,
we'll have to stay tuned and find out. Pull up his name on your computer while I'm doing this. Okay, ready for ratings?
Always ready.
I thought this was surprising. IMDb gives it a 7.2. Rotten Tomatoes, 35.
What?
35%. 35. There's an almost 40% difference. There's a 37% difference.
That is terrible.
It's not our lowest, but it is far and away one of our all-time lowest. No question. Our lowest still being
Halloween.
07 Halloween at
07.
28.
Was it 28?
28. Yeah, because we have the note there on our board.
Yeah, it's behind me. I can't.
But yeah, so this movie is, what would that be? 7 points, only 7 points above the lowest rated movie as far as Rotten Tomatoes is concerned that we've ever had on the show.
I wonder why such hate.
I don't know. And here's something too. This is the only thing I can figure. I have not read the book. Have you read the book?
No.
And I've asked around. No one I know has read the book. So I was hoping to maybe get a little context into what someone thinks as far as a movie adaptation of a book. And so maybe this film isn't a great adaptation kind of a thing. And that's what, the book lovers are like, this sucks because this is not the story, as is most of the time the case for.
What's your thoughts on that whole, the movie has to be exactly beat for beat by the movie?
Okay, as long as it's done well, and I say that as long as it's a good movie, I'm fine. But if they do their own thing and the movie sucks, then I'm going, why did they deviate? Why? Why would you, like, Jurassic Park is wildly different from the book, but Jurassic Park is a masterpiece. Book and movie, and I enjoy them both. But if you were to be like, but is Jurassic Park the film a faithful adaptation? No, not really. But it's still good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I only get on that particular soapbox if the movie that they made their own decisions and changes to sucks. And then I'm going, why did you ruin that?
I can get behind that. I can get behind that. I always looked at it as, you've read the book, so you know the story, you know all the beats. Why would you want to go to the movie and just experience the exact same thing?
I don't know, because I get what you're saying, but there is something cool about seeing these characters and these moments that you loved from a story brought to life.
Oh, I agree. I mean, because I'm a huge MCU guy,
Yeah.
but I liked the comics as well. And, same way with Batman. And like in the 89 Batman, Joker kills Bruce Wayne's parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's not at all what happens in the comics.
It depends, because there's at least one comic version where Joker is the assailant. See, I'm talking about a book made into an adaptation. You are now opening up Pandora's box of
that's
comic
true.
books.
That's true. Let's just close that.
There is no continuity to comic books. It is almost criminal, the lack of continuity in comic books.
Yeah, let's just close that right now.
Yeah.
We'll be here forever.
But to your point, though, at least in a comic book or a graphic novel, you still get to see the images and it's cool, but they're even being able to see what you can see in a lot of these, books, the artists are phenomenal. But there's still something special and different about seeing it brought to life in a movie. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
Even getting pictures from a comic book or graphic novel, there's something special when it's done well, seeing your favorite characters and story brought to life. So maybe maybe Where the Crawdads Sing isn't a good adaptation. I don't know. I was unable to find an answer on that because I didn't want to scour the internet for internet opinions. I don't care about internet opinions. I wanted to find someone whose opinion I would trust, and no one had read the book. So I hear it's good though. I don't know. The book.
My daughter's read it. She said she enjoyed it.
Okay.
So
did she watch the movie?
She did.
How did she feel the movie adaptation holds up?
I did not ask her, honestly.
Okay.
I think she read the book. I know she has the book. But if she's gotten around to reading it, I don't.
Is it in her TBR list? That TBR pile?
Yeah.
Okay. So, budget. Where the Crawdads Sing made with an estimated $24 million, with a worldwide gross of $144.3 million.
Wow.
Hard to argue with that.
Pretty impressive for a Hallmark movie.
That's a good haul. A Hallmark movie. Mean. 2 award wins with 12 nominations. Now, I find this a little irritating. Both award wins are about the song written and performed by Taylor Swift.
Gross.
That she made for the movie that I'm pretty sure only plays during the end credits. Carolina. Both wins for this movie are actually Taylor Swift wins and have nothing to do with the movie whatsoever.
So it's just like a best original song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't count that. I wouldn't count that either.
That's what that is, though.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, that sucks.
And honestly, how much of that is just this unstoppable wave of popularity that Taylor Swift is still on?
Are you a Swiftie?
I don't know what that means, and I refuse to answer the question. But you know what I mean? Like, at this point, she is so popular, she could actually release a song of her just farting into the microphone, and the song could be labeled, "Fuck My Fans. You're a bunch of idiots." And it's just her farting into a microphone. And people be like, she's so artistic and edgy. This is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, she's so popular, she can't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So how much of this is it actually like that good of a song, or is it just, her name is attached, so it gobbles everything up?
I remember it playing vaguely at the end, but as soon as the credits came up, I'm like, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
Turned it off.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch credits to listen to a Taylor Swift song.
No.
And I don't have anything against Taylor Swift. I don't have anything against people who are fans of Taylor Swift. I don't care. I mean, you get my point of, like, once they reach a certain level of popularity, like, it doesn't matter what they do. Let's face it, Stone Cold did coke and slapped his wife around. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. But it's public knowledge. It's out there.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
Yep. You reach a certain point where you're so popular, you're Teflon, and it doesn't matter what you do.
And I agree with that. I mean, we see that all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bummed out that that's the 2 award wins, and they don't actually have anything to do with the merits of the film. Especially because the song, I'm not even sure the song is in the film. It's in the credits. So what the hell is the point of this? It's not like John Williams won the Oscar for Best Score, right? And his music plays throughout the film and makes it this all-encompassing experience. That's not what this is.
Yeah, but to be honest, like even best original songs, none of them really are played during the film. Like they're normally at the beginning, over the credits.
They're either opening or closing. They're over credits.
Yeah. And there might be one or two that the actual play during the song, like during a action scene or something. But most of the time, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is "The Heat Is On" from Beverly Hills Cop.
The heat is on. That became a radio hit too.
Yeah, that thing was huge when I was younger.
All right, are you ready for some reviews?
Let's do this.
Ebert.com.
Oh boy.
And again,
well, are they mad because there weren't enough crawdads in this movie?
Also, Crawdads Sing?
You got to be really, really quiet.
We're from Missouri. We say crawdads. We have crawdads. I'm going, Crawdads Sing?
No, they don't sing.
Okay.
No, it's just you have to be really, really quiet. Go somewhere really, really quiet to hear them. Yeah,
typically the places they live are filled with bugs that are loud as shit all the time. Anywho.
All right, what's Ebert say?
Oh, no, it's Ebert.com.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because this is 2022.
That's true.
Ebes is no longer with us.
What does Ebes.com say?
2 stars. Sorely lacking in actual suspense or substance.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, we'll get into it. Maybe we can if we talk long enough and openly enough about it, we'll figure out something. Are you ready for New York Times?
Sure. I love the New York Times.
Because, the New York Times frequently is, not against, but they have an opposite opinion a lot of the time to our friends over at Ebert.com. And they had this to say. For a story about sex, murder, family secrets, and class resentment, the temperature is awfully mild.
Okay.
The critics watch this film, and the crowd goes mild.
Were they wanting more sex or more murder or more family secrets?
Actually, I think they, in a more wordy way, are going exactly with what Ebert.com had of lacking actual substance or suspense.
Okay.
So, what is your history with this movie?
I knew about the book, but I never had any desire to watch the movie. I'll take that back. My daughter saw the movie. She says it was really good. So I was like, okay, well, maybe if it's comes on streaming or something, I'll give it a watch. And then we decided to do it for this. So that's my history.
There you go.
Nothing real flashy.
Well, according to Ebert.com and New York Times, neither is this film.
Yeah, but their history with reviewing movies.
It's true. That's true. Still not as bad as Rolling Stones, though. So I had heard of the book. Again, just like you, I'd heard of the book. I knew it had got turned into a movie. Although I thought it was this year. I didn't realize it was at the time of this recording last year. So when this comes out 2 years ago.
Right.
I didn't realize it had been that long. I thought it was still newer.
Really?
Oh no, apparently it's not.
Yeah.
But again, my fingers aren't on the pulse of teen romance books and movies and whatever. I don't care. I'm too old and jaded for that nonsense. Happy Valentine's Day.
I can tell. Yeah.
And then, so yeah, I was like, I had heard of it. And now we're doing it for the podcast.
Okay.
History, boom, cut dry.
Done. Man, that was quick.
Quick and easy. All right, are you ready?
Let's do this.
Rip Chase Andrews. That's my first note here. Rip Chase Andrews. That mush mouth talking Forrest Gump motherfucker. Got on my goddamn nerves.
Yeah, his acting wasn't the best.
I don't know the actor, right? So I don't know. I don't know. Well,
Harrison Dickinson is his name.
$20 name, but he didn't give a $20 performance. Sorry, Harrison.
No, he was very.
Is he British?
Honestly, I don't know.
I'm curious. I'd be curious to know if he's American or British, and if that is an accent he had to learn,
That could
or
be. That could be.
if that's just how he talks. There's no way that's his normal voice, like his normal accent. There is no way.
It didn't come off as believable to you.
As believable as Forrest Gump.
It wasn't that bad. I always thought Forrest Gump's was terrible.
Oh, this is worse than Forrest Gump.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, because Forrest Gump was made a little tongue-in-cheek, caricature-esque. Like it's not meant to be
Yeah, you do have a point there. Okay.
particularly serious.
Yeah, he was pretty serious on this.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Chase Andrews.
Harris Dickinson.
Rip. So police show up. So kids are riding their bikes. They find a body in the marsh. And I say marsh because this movie is really big on driving home the factual differences between a marsh and a swamp. As someone who does not live in or near marshes or swamps, they are all the same damn thing to me, full of giant bugs and dinosaurs. So I don't care. I'm not going there.
I was thinking the same thing. Like when she kept diving into the water and
Oh, absolutely
I'm
not.
like, what are you doing? You were going to be the dead marsh girl.
Yeah.
Like, what in the shit is going on here?
It's like when you're watching, some kind of documentary about the Amazon and you see the locals like taking a dip in the Amazon River. And I'm going, absolutely not.
No.
You've got to be out of your mind.
I kept waiting like throughout the entire movie. It's just somebody. I'm like, somebody's going to get bit or
Taken.
Yeah. Because I kept thinking too, like his body's laying there in the mud.
Yeah.
Wouldn't something have come up and...
That's the thing, though. Maybe the gators aren't really prevalent in the marshland.
Yeah,
they're more.
I don't know.
They're more swampland.
I don't know.
I am not a big city zoologist, so I don't know the typical habitats and territories of the American South gators.
Yeah. So in this story, gators aren't there.
No, not really.
Nope.
But again, maybe that's more of a swamp thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. So, but the police show up. They're like, "Oh, this is Chase Andrews. Damn, he was the best quarterback our town ever had." And I'm like, "Yep, that's some small town shit right there."
Very much small town shit.
And then they find this rusty, rickety old Firewatch tower, and they walk up it, and they're like, "Oh, there's an open grate." And you look down, and there's Chase's body perfectly in the square. He didn't bounce or nothing. He just plummeted perfectly straight down like a framed picture. There's Chase's body in the hole in the grate.
And the outline of him in the mud. It was like the Joker, like Jack Nicholson's Joker at the end when he crushes the concrete and you see the outline of his body.
Splat. And they're just like, "Oh, who did it? I bet it was that goddamn marsh girl. Goddamn swamp witch."
Yeah, I don't remember them having any reasoning behind it.
Well, I think so. They had found the red fibers on Chase's clothing.
Right.
The whole town knew that they had a history. And then they went to ask her a question and they see a hat matching the fibers. And they're like, probable cause. So they just kind of kick this bitch. Oh, no, the door was open. They just kind of walk into her house and take her hat. And they're like, "Gotcha."
Yeah, and then I guess she does take off running when she sees them.
And they're like, "Excuse me," and she freaks out and runs off.
Yeah.
And they have to police chase ensues, but it's a boat chase. Whee! And they're little boats, and they catch her. That's actually my next note. "Gotcha, bitch," is my next note. As she's like, "Oh, I'm out of gas," or whatever. Her boat gets stuck, and she dives in the water to swim away. That police boat pulls up, and then you just see a hand reach into the water and grab her by her hair and pull her up onto the police boat. I'm like, "Oh, damn. Gotcha." How'd they see her? That water's not clear.
I don't.
Maybe they just saw the movement, like, the wake in the water.
They just saw something under there, and he was like, I don't know. Maybe it's a gator. Maybe it's her. Let's reach down there and
I'm just
find
going to
out.
stick my hand in there.
Yeah.
To be fair, they probably noodle all the time.
I was getting ready to say the exact same thing, because there is no way in hell I would ever do that.
Noodling?
No.
If you don't know, because you know what? We have some listeners from overseas. We've looked that up in our metrics.
Yes, we do.
So if you're not familiar with noodling, when catfish go to rest, they typically have like a burrow, as odd as that seems, and they make a little cove in the dirt and the mud under the water. And so noodling is you take your bare arm and you stick it into one of these potential catfish nest holes. They bite down on your arm, and then you just grab them and you hoist them out of the water. And it's like, haha, I caught this big catfish with my bare hands. But again, the whole premise is you are sticking your hand into a hole in the ground underneath swamp water, blinded, but you can't see anything, and you're just going, I hope it's a catfish that bites me.
No way in hell.
Oh, absolutely not when I do that.
Mm-mm.
So no, these guys noodle, so they're just like, whatever, boom, catch her.
Yeah, I hear you can catch some really big ones that way, but I'm like, I don't give a shit.
No.
I don't like fish that much.
So Kaya, we learn Marsh Girl's name, Kaya, and people are like, she's a witch, or she's a werewolf, or she's a, there's all these ridiculous rumors about her. But while she's in jail and she's talking to her lawyer, it now begins to flash to her past, and then intercuts with moments from her present as we see the court hearing going on over this murder trial. I've got some stuff I want to talk about, but I have no desire to scene by scene this movie.
No, me either.
And I don't even know if I accurately could, having only seen it this one time.
I agree.
But there's a lot of different things I do want to touch on.
Yeah, we can just hit the main points and the themes. And
so, okay, here's a main point I had, and I definitely want to talk about this. Nice family, huh?
Holy cow.
We see Kaya as a child. She's 8, 7, 8, maybe. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And we get a taste of her home life. Mama, Dada, 1, 2, 3, 4 siblings.
4, I think.
4 siblings.
Yeah.
Well, we find out Dad's a bit of a drunk and a lot of an abusive drunk.
Yeah, but her mom is very loving and tries to teach her all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Teaches her to paint and just enjoys her children.
Yeah.
But then you have the dad who enjoys his Jim Beam.
Yeah. Specifically.
Yeah.
He enjoys Jim.
He enjoys Jim Beam and Bloody Knuckles.
He didn't punch anybody.
Oh, I'm sure he's punched her a few times.
He definitely, they tasted the back of his hand once or twice. So, and okay. So we've the father's abusive to everyone in the family. Although, pretty clearly, he's not sexually abusive. That's not even hinted at.
No, that's
he
not.
just gets to slapping.
Yeah.
He's from the old Slapaho tribe, as
Oh, Jesus Christ.
if I remember that joke from John Q.
Is that what that was from?
Yeah.
I just remember the joke. I don't remember where it was from.
Okay. Well, I don't know if that's where it's like from. The first time I heard it was John Q. Yeah. And it's like, man, we all know you're part of the Slapaho tribe.
God.
But the daughters are playing in the boat. They're just rocking it in the water. Not a big deal. Or at least I didn't think so.
He gets all upset.
And he's all upset because they are not listening to him. They don't respect his things. And the 2 older daughters take off running. But poor Kaya gets caught. And Kaya gets smacked. Not slapped. She gets smacked.
Yeah.
And then Mom intervenes. I believe she eats one too.
Yeah, and I'm sure she got a lot later too.
Well, we find out because Kaya's trying to sleep and she's unable to because of the argument and then subsequent beating she overhears while she's, laying in bed. So here's my next issue. Obviously, the dad's a piece of shit. We got that. I guess the mom was beaten into such a stupor, she abandons her family and leaves. Doesn't take any of the kids, nothing, just leaves.
That confused me
Yeah, me too.
a lot. Like, because the way you portrayed yourself with your children at the beginning, and now you're just up and packing your shit, and you're like, see ya, I'm out. I can't speak to it. It's because I've never been in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how desperate she was. Maybe she knew, maybe he told her to leave. Maybe she knew that if she tried to take the kids, then he would do worse to her. I don't know.
Right. And we find out later he does threaten that, but what we get to see is he beats her that night. It's not like she runs off and escapes. It's not like she leaves right then and there. Essentially, she goes to bed at some point, wakes up the next morning, dad's still passed out. She packs a bag.
Yeah.
And then just walks her happy ass down the road, abandoning her 4 children. What a piece of shit is the mom.
Does she say anything to them at all? I don't think she did.
Walks off down the road with a packed bag, and she's got like her traveling hat and whatever. Like, what in the hell is this? So again, you're right. Can't speak to it. I'm not a beaten woman. I'm not an abused mother, right? But this was so jarringly unbelievable or jarringly nonsensical to me that I'm going, she had the wherewithal to rest, pack a bag, and then just walk away. And and dad's passed out. You didn't get your kids? You know how hard it is for him to do anything to the kids if you take them with you while he's passed out? What is this? She just leaves. So I'm sorry, the mom is just as bad. Yeah, they try to redeem her later on, and we'll touch on that. No, not at all.
That's the only thing I could think of was she was so scared. He made her so scared to do anything remotely to help them kids that she just left. That's the only thing I could think of. Because it doesn't make sense the way she was such a good mother, and then all of a sudden she's just, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I don't care if there's a T-Rex bearing down on you. There is no reason why a parent could or would leave their child in that kind of jeopardy. She is a selfish bitch and a terrible mother. And I will die on this hill. She is just as bad as the dad. She abandoned her 4 children to the machinations of a brutal drunk. And guess what? Dad is not going to be happy when he finds out mom's gone. Who's going to catch that hellfire? Guess who? The kids she abandoned. Now let's step forward. We have Murphy, the oldest child, the son. He gets tired of getting slapped around. He abandons everyone. Doesn't take his siblings. Doesn't take anybody. He just fucks off too. Then we've got the next 2 oldest kids, the sisters, whatever their names were. What do they get? Their little brother and their little sister? Nope. They just follow the trend, but they fuck off together. They abandon the family. You have the wherewithal to do it together. Take your siblings. What is the matter with you? And then Jody's like 10. He's the brother. Kaya's the youngest. And then he's like, Kaya, I can't do it. I got to get out of here. See you later. And he fucking leaves. And now there's just guys, I'm like, what in the hell is going on? This is the most ridiculous, like, open door nonsense. This really bothered me for a number of reasons because I'm like, this is dumb. This is dumb the way it's happening.
Well, I kept thinking too. I'm like, okay, so the older brother leaves. I'm like, well, okay, well, why don't you take the other ones with you? Like, what the hell? And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe the other 2. The 2 sisters leave, and I'm like, okay, well, here we go. She's gonna. Oh no, they're just keep on walking.
Yep.
And then it's just her. It's just Kaya.
Yeah, because even
there with her
Jody,
dad.
who arguably, or as best we can tell, what we get to see is probably Jody and Kaya are the closest as far as those two go
Right. Yeah.
with each other. It's not like they're like, we'll do this together, and they escape hand in hand into the night and get away from their dad and, you know, that kind of story. No, he just leaves too, and I'm like, what? I don't believe the mom would abandon her children. I don't believe the older brother would abandon his siblings. I sure as hell don't believe the two older sisters would abandon their young child or young children, younger siblings. And then the two youngest, who seem to be the closest to what we get to see, they don't even stick together. What is this? I don't know. And again, this is a movie critique. I did not read the book. Maybe the book goes into it more and it makes more sense. I do not know. But watching this, I'm actively scoffing because I'm like, this is such bullshit. It just is.
So now we have just the father and Kaya.
And that's when older Kaya, present day Kaya, her narration continues. And she's like, I learned to live with daddy. And I learned, you know, to hide, to stay out of sight, to not make noise. I know when to be around him and when not to be around. And she figures out how to survive.
Yeah, because doesn't he quit drinking for a while?
No.
No? I thought he quit drinking for a short period of time.
Yeah, like an afternoon. Because he had to go buy more. No, she didn't say he quit drinking. She said, and he was good to me for a little while.
Okay, maybe that's
why. Wildly different. Because he was good to her because she knew when to keep a low profile, not be around.
Yeah.
When he wouldn't be good to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, he never changed.
Well, that's something that trait is something she takes with her for a long, long time in her life, too. Hiding from people.
Yeah.
Knowing when not to be around certain people or people in general for most of the story.
So, flash forward just a little bit. Eventually, and I don't really know why, I don't remember, and I don't really remember the movie going into it, but again, it's also from the point of view from Kaya, so she wouldn't know. You know who also just packs a bag and leaves? Dad! So now we have Kaya completely abandoned by not one, not two, 6 family members. 4 siblings, both parents, 6 family members, individually, except for the 2 sisters, left her ass in the middle of the marsh.
She manages.
She does, in fact, learn to survive. She's quite resourceful, that young girl.
She is. But the dad. Wasn't there was a letter that came from the mother?
Yes. Kaya doesn't know how to read.
Right. But he does. And he reads it.
He reads it, but tells her that Mama is never coming back. And then burns the letter.
Right. And then I think he leaves after that.
Shortly after
that. Okay.
And we also get, we learn, because Kaya has her green knapsack, which we learned was the dad's travel bag, or whatever you want to call it, from his military days when he was in the army. And so I'm like, wait, is he supposed to be like a PTSD veteran kind of a thing? And he drinks himself into a stupor, and that's why he's abusive and short-tempered and, whatever. They give us, just enough to be like, are they trying to excuse his behavior?
Yeah, it doesn't go too much into that. I think that's the only time it's brought up.
It is, but it's still...
Yeah, it's just a morsel. It's a morsel.
Because he doesn't just give her a bag. Here's a gift. And that could be enough, but they feel the need for him to say the words, "This is my knapsack from the army," or whatever he says. The only reason that line is there is to give a little more depth to the father. And I don't know if they're just trying to explain him more as a character or flesh him out or give explanation or, I don't know, but I don't care. He's an abusive drunk and there is no excuse for that.
I'll give you that.
So I don't care if it's his knapsack from the army. Apparently he should have gotten blown up or napalmed or something. I don't know.
Damn.
He's an abusive drunk. I don't care about his feelings or his life.
I'll give you that.
You're going to tell me I'm supposed to
no.
care what some dirty swamp rat who beats his wife and kids does or thinks?
No, not at all.
Should have got taken by a gator.
If they exist in this world.
I don't know if they do. That might be a swamp thing. They're in the marsh. I don't know the difference.
If you know the difference out there, let us know. Tell us how we're wrong.
I'm not going to read that comment. I don't care. But no, so we have Kaya who's now, she has clear abandonment issues and learns to fend for herself, learns to survive. She's already learned how to hide and keep her head down, don't make waves, don't make noise. And then we see her take comfort in, or to guard against the loneliness, she almost befriends the marshlands that she lives in. And this is all very important to Kaya as a character.
Yeah, they definitely play on the lonely versus alone thought process.
Like, she's alone.
She's not lonely.
She's not lonely.
No. She gets lonely when she goes to school.
That 20 minutes.
Because anybody in town really is assholes to her.
And we learned not everybody was.
Except for the black couple. Was it Jumpin'
and his wife, I can't remember her name. Mabel?
Yes, Jumpin' and Mabel.
And we learn
at the store.
We see the younger version of him, slightly younger. But the gentleman who would go on to be her defense attorney, she bumped into on the street as she was headed to school that first day, and he was kind to her.
Yes.
And then there was the neighbor boy, Tate. Tate being Jody's friend. And he was kind to her. And that's it.
That is
it. She has had 4 positive experiences in her life. Technically, the mother and the siblings would have been positive experiences, but they also abandoned her. So I feel like there's a taint there. There's a stain, a smear, a smell,
a taint.
It has a smelly taint.
Tate has a smelly taint?
No, the mom and the siblings have a smelly taint. Pay attention.
I didn't want to pay attention to Tate's taint.
It's way good because it wasn't Tate. It was the mom and the siblings' taints have a smell. So we kind of learned that I guess the state half-ass looks for Kaya, kind of, sort of. They can never find her because she's so good at hiding, but they're like, yeah, we're pretty sure there's been an abandoned girl. Whatever, I don't care. Like the state abandons her, basically. Okay.
I feel like it was probably right for the time. What was it? The 60s?
60s, North Carolina.
Yeah, there's like, meh.
And even the community, the town, they don't care about this abandoned marsh girl. Even Jumpin' and Mabel, who are good to her and kind of just become her new family, right? They never take her in. They know she's alone. And Jumpin's exact words, we don't get involved in other people's business. And Mabel's like, well, that's not what the Bible says. And she quotes, and he's like, it doesn't matter. Like, they know she was abandoned.
How do you think they would have been treated? They were already treated like shit.
Oh, yeah.
Jumpin' and Mabel.
Yeah.
But how do you think they would have been treated if they would have adopted the Marsh girl? Do you think it would have got out in town and then everybody would have just been all up in arms? Or
I don't think so, because if they had just tried to adopt any old white girl, right? Maybe. Gave a shit about the Marsh girl.
Maybe, until someone tried to help her.
But yeah, well, I mean, they don't do anything. Really, they don't.
He helps her out by buying her
muscles.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. But yeah, he helps her out by buying those.
And they're kind to her. Yeah, I mean,
and they're really nice to her.
Yeah, but okay. They're nice to her and they help her.
They give her
but not
stuff every once in a while.
They help her, but not really in the sense of what two reasonable adults should do to help a well-known abandoned child. I'm sorry. I like Jumpin' and Mabel. They're good characters.
I do too. I like them
But
a lot.
damn, you know she's been abandoned and lives alone in a goddamn marsh. I feel like I'm losing my mind. F the children. That's what I got from this movie. F the children.
No, just F the child. Just the one
F
child.
the one child.
Yeah. Nobody gives a shit about the one child.
So Kaya grows up in this alone but not lonely, and she's got Jumpin' and Mabel, and they help her out from time to time, and she forges a living. And then she meets Tate again. But Tate's not that young boy fishing anymore, and she's not that scared little girl digging for mussels. They're grown. They're young. They're a handsome young man and a fetching young woman, and they lock eyes, and they're like, I like this. I like what I see. And then we get, hold on, checks notes, marsh sex.
They don't do it.
I'm pretty sure there's insertion.
No. He doesn't.
He stops.
He does. He stops because he says he doesn't want to do that.
But I'm pretty sure there was insertion.
Not until the end.
No, I think there was still.
No,
I
there
think
was
it's,
not.
They got undressed.
Yes.
He got on top of her.
No.
There was a body motion. They made faces, and I'm like, and then they started, and then he stopped. He's like, I'm sorry. And I understand the respect. I get what he's going for, but the horse has already left the barn. The penis is already in the vagina.
No,
You can't take it
I
back.
refuse to admit. I refuse to accept that happened. Not there. Not there. She doesn't experience sex until with Chase.
Chase Andrews.
Yes. For that 46 seconds.
Not even. Not even.
The beginning of Halloween, the two teenagers in that lasted longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chase is not
He's not a giving soul.
how do I word this? He's not he's not a tiger in the bedroom, is he?
No, he's out for number one.
Yeah, but like even so, yeah, great, he's a selfish lover, yes, but what I'm saying, like, he's not talented. He's bad at the sex. I'm trying to find a way to say it without saying it, and you're not getting it. He's not good at the sex. If you last 15 seconds, you're bad at the sex. You are not good with sex. I'm sorry.
I like what he says after he's done. He's like, "Oh, you'll learn to like it better the more you do it.
It'll get better for you the more you do it." I'm like, yeah.
Jesus.
And not at all because you're just bad at it. Anywho, where are we? No, we're not at Chase yet. She meets Tate, and with Tate, they fall in love. It's young love. You know, everyone's like, "You're with that marsh girl." He's like, her name's Kaya, and she's a good person. You know, they have so many shared interests in nature and the local marshes, and they've got history.
He teaches her how to read.
He teaches her how to read.
I like Tate. I like Tate a lot.
Until.
Yeah.
So Tate's going off to college.
Dick.
And, well, that's not why he's a dick. He had to go off to college. That's part of life. I'm not going to front him for that. I'm fronting him for what's coming up.
Yes. Me too.
So they talk about it. They're like, you know what? It's fine because I'll be back to visit. I'll see you as often as I can. It's only a few years. It's fine. And he leaves. And I guess their first big meetup was going to be the 4th of July. He'll be back in town, and he's going to be there with her to spend time together and watch the fireworks for the 4th of July. And she waits. The fireworks go off. She's still waiting. She ends up falling asleep on the beach and wakes up the next day, and he never showed up. She has now been abandoned for the 7th time.
This poor girl.
This asshole dipshit didn't write, didn't come see her, just effed off, and that was that. See you later, Tate. And I'm like, get fucked, Tate. Don't do that. At least write a letter, you douche.
Yeah, something.
Something. Give closure. No, he just disappears. Later in the movie, when he comes back and she's screaming at him, she's like, you didn't even write. I didn't know if you were alive or dead. And I'm like, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
So she's alone. More time goes by. And she's kind of around local kids playing on the beach. Young adults playing on the beach. And that's when she catches the attention of football star Chase Andrews.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
And he's just like, hey, you want to go to a picnic? And she was like, I guess. He's like, all right then. And at this moment...
That sounded just like him.
I know! It was so irritating. I'm like, I can't sit through this. This sucks. Well, I'm Chase Andrews, and I just became manager at the Piggly Wiggly.
Of course it had to be the Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly. What's his name?
Chase?
No, the actor's name.
Harrison? No, Harris. Harris Dickinson.
Harris Dickinson. On behalf of Ticket Price, would like to extend to you the Charlie Sheen Award for Best Accent. I hope you display it proudly on your mantelpiece for that god-awful Southern accent. And if that's your actual accent, I'm sorry. But there's no way it is.
I bet he sounds just like that in the Iron Claw.
Actually, probably,
Yeah.
given that he's portraying a real Texan.
I think he's David
Okay.
Von
Yeah.
Erich.
Oh, we're not talking about the Von Erichs. We don't have time for that.
Oh God, no.
I haven't taken enough medicine today to talk about the Von Erich family.
I don't want to cry.
But just awful. Just awful. So they go on their picnic. He pushes things physically a little too fast. She stops him.
He's very pushy.
Oh, yeah.
Very pushy.
He's just going to try to score with the Marsh girl, I guess.
Yeah. And I kind of felt like she needed to get the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to her house, basically.
Yeah. Well, everyone knows where she lives.
Yeah. And he walks in and grabs some of her drawings and is flipping through them. I'm like, oh, yeah, these are really cool. And then just throws them down on the ground.
Yeah, he tosses them in the chair but misses and they just hit the floor.
I'm like, you dickhead.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not ready for company. I'm not company. It don't matter. And just walked in. I'm like, oh, God, this guy sucks. But they end up dating. And it's mostly a physical relationship. We touched on it. She does, I guess, technically lose her virginity to young Chase. And it's not the experience I think most people hope for that big moment in their life.
What, a dirty motel out
15
in the middle
seconds
of
in
nowhere?
a dirty motel.
Jackass.
How many hopeful young starlets have had that experience?
What, from the actual actor? Or just
in general.
Just in general. Oh, yeah.
Countless.
Yeah.
Countless. So, but we learn that Chase is emotionally manipulative and physically abusive.
Just like somebody else that was in her life.
Yep. But she knows how to handle such things. So now we get more of Kaya's life, and we're seeing the cycle she's in of abuse and abandonment. But along the way, she becomes a published author on her nature books about Carolina marshes and whatever.
Yeah, she knows everything.
Oh, yeah.
Marsh.
Well, she should. She eats, sleeps, and breathes it. I mean, my God. Tate does eventually come back, but she's still with Chase. There's some tension there.
Well, he comes back and he
wants her back.
Yeah. I mean, he's been gone for 5 years?
5 or 6, yeah.
And then he's all shocked that she's moved on.
I don't think he's shocked.
Or maybe it's with who.
I think it's with who.
Yeah. because he pretty much knows how Chase is.
Yeah. And he overhears Chase talking to his buddies about her
Right.
and their physical activities.
And that's when he gets a little physical.
Yeah, and he's like, "What you gonna do, college boy?" I'm like, "Tate, grab a boat oar and whoop this kid's ass. And then take the broken oar handle and whoop his friend's ass. Just whoop all the ass.
Just go all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, one for each. One for each of you.
Yeah, but that was a good accent.
That was a good
and a good
accent.
character. So, and again, this is cutting back and forth between present day, where a lot of this story is coming out, whether she's talking to her lawyer in the jail cell or flashbacks during a certain witness or certain character references, testimony on the stand, and it keeps jumping back and forth. Now, I had heard a few things, read a few things about, I guess, some people while watching this movie got a little lost or a little confused by the time jumps. Having watched this movie, I find that critique to be a bunch of nonsense. If you are actually paying attention to this movie, the jumps are clear as a bell. There is no question or confusion whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a single problem at all.
And if you didn't have a problem,
exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about.
You get confused in 80% of the movies we watch. Who is that? What are we doing?
Who the hell is Chuck?
Who's Chuck? Why do we care he died? I'm like, damn it, Tevis.
Now, which one's Rocky in the ring? Which one of them is Rocky?
You were so focused. You were so just tunnel visioned on your hatred for Polly. You can't even watch the rest of that movie. But yeah, so Tate comes back. He's trying to win her back. She's not interested because she's angry, and I get that. She's being successful with her books, but Chase strikes her, and now she lives in perpetual fear. He tries to rape her. Sorry, everyone, I didn't give a warning about hard R use on the. I know that word is sensitive for some, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
He makes an attempt,
and then she gets a hunk of stump or whatever that is, and beats the shit out of him, and I enjoyed that a lot.
I did too.
I'm like, yeah, get him.
Yeah.
Hit him again. And then she was like kicking him while he was down. I'm like, yeah, just finish him. Finish him.
Yeah, and then she yells at him, if you come near me again,
I'll kill
you. And it's overheard by somebody in a boat.
Yeah. And it comes up again.
Comes up in
later.
the trial.
But Tate visits her again and gives her the red hat that is used as evidence against her. So now we know that's Tate's hat.
Yeah.
And she does she doesn't want the hat, but he kind of makes her take it. So maybe he gets it back. It's kind of left open-ended. Like, we know she gets it, but she doesn't want it, but it was found in the house. But we know it's Tate's. We know it's Tate's hat. As they're trying to just figure out, who killed Chase Andrews. And now it's kind of up in the air because it could have been an accident. He could have fallen off that rickety fire watch tower. And Chase is the one that showed it to Kaya. That was Chase's go-to spot when he needed to be alone.
Yeah, and
drink, presumably.
He had to kick the grate back down because it came up.
Yeah.
Somehow. But he had to kick it back down into place.
Yeah, so was it an accident? Did Kaya murder him? Did Tate murder him? Because it could have been Tate. We don't know. So I want to get to the end of the court.
Okay.
The trial. The end of the trial. I was going to say courtroom scene, but that's not. I want to get to the end of the trial. So the closing arguments are made, and the defense attorney lines out that the state has not actually brought up any legitimate evidence linking Kaya to the crime, to the murder. We don't even know if it was a murder. There is no evidence of murder. We just have a dead body. Could be an accident. And if it was a murder, there's no evidence linking it to Kaya. And because of her alibi, because that night she was in Greenville or wherever, meeting with her publishers. And he step by step lines out the exact scenario that would need to happen for Kaya to be the murderer. And as he lists it out, you're like, man, this is so wildly improbable and impractical and unbelievable. She has to be innocent. It has to be a not guilty verdict. Because it's like, so what you're saying is she, in the dead of night, in a disguise, went to the Greenville bus station, took the last bus from Greenville to whatever their town is. The bus driver does not recognize her. She then, in the course of an hour, lures Chase to the top of the fire tower, pushes him off. He falls and dies. She then wipes away any fingerprints or evidence linking her or anyone else to a potential murder. Redons a disguise. Gets the last bus from that town to Greenville. The bus driver of that does not recognize her. She then gets back to the motel just in time to change and get ready and meet up with her publisher and her editors for breakfast that morning. She's unruffled. She looks well rested. She's completely normal and fine. And he lays it all out on the line, and you're going, well, yeah, it's just nonsense. There's no way. Like, that's nothing about this timeline works or makes sense. She is ultimately found not guilty because there is no evidence, and it just doesn't work. Like, the amount of things that would have to happen in the ridiculously small window they would have to happen just doesn't make any logical sense. And she's ultimately found not guilty. And I agreed with that.
Yeah, I agree.
So then she ultimately realizes, she could have been found guilty and gotten the death penalty. That could have been the end of her life. She realizes she wants to spend her days with the only man she's ever loved, Tate. And they get back together and they have hot porch sex.
I have written down, they hug and kiss and do it.
My notes, I love you, right? And she answers with porch sex.
That's a yes.
That does seem to be a yes.
Yeah.
Then it shows them growing old together, and it's very sweet.
There's something I'm glad they went this direction, because we've seen the movies before where they get older and they use the same actors, but they try to age them with makeup.
Right.
This one, they just changed actors.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was probably a budget reason, because it's probably pretty expensive to try to make somebody up. And
yeah, but it also just looks better.
It did look better, but A Beautiful Mind did the makeup thing, and it was awesome.
It looked good, yeah.
So that's why I think it might have been just a budget issue, but I was so happy they just changed the actors. Plus, they were old enough too. I mean, they were really young, and then it went to them being really super old.
And the old actors they got physically resembled enough.
Exactly.
That you're like, yeah, it's been 60 years. Like, it's fine, You're like, I don't think that's the actress who plays Kyle. No one cares. It's a movie. That's not what... But, and you brought up an interesting point. Russell Crowe looked great when they did him up in A Beautiful Mind. Or like Chris Evans, as Old Man Captain America, looked fantastic. But our two examples we're giving of it being done well are mega money dump movies that won all the awards and did all the stuff. Like, you have to have a very expensive and incredibly talented team of makeup artists and effects artists to pull that off.
Yeah.
Or you could just get someone older and it's fine. And we as an audience are okay with it because it's a movie.
Yeah, we understand. We're like, yeah, okay. They look good.
It looked fine. You're like, oh yeah, that's Old Man Kaya and Tate. No problems.
Yep.
Totally fine. Did you have anything else before we get into like the end?
No.
Okay. So Kaya eventually passes away. I guess we should pause on this. Jody, the brother,
Yeah, he made
one
an
of the brothers,
appearance.
he finds her again as adults because he ended up joining the army. And then he said he saw her book and saw her name and went, "Oh shit, yeah, I have a sister. I should try to find her." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" He never came and asked for money. You know, I believe he apologized for leaving her.
Yeah, he did.
And
He's in the courtroom too.
And he's there with her, and he is trying to be a brother again. And I get that, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. But we also learned through Jody that the mom's letter that the dad burned up was not saying she wasn't coming back. It was saying more or less, I'm coming to get the kids. And I'm coming to get the kids, and we're leaving. And he does eventually, through a letter, presumably, but the dad does respond, "If you come, I'll kill all of you." So obviously she doesn't. So she spends all of her time trying to save up money for lawyers to get the kids away from the dad. But while that happens, she develops leukemia. And she gets very, very sick and is unable to continue the legal route and ultimately passes away. And that's why she never came back for the kids. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But you know what I still don't get? Her abandoning the kids in the first place. Well, she was saving her money for lawyers to get them, and then she got leukemia, and it's all really sad, and da-da-da. No, fuck you and fuck her. You know, it's not, none of this would have mattered if she had just, while packing her bag and putting her little hat on to walk to her sister's house, if she, I don't know, gathered her gaggle of children up and just went together.
I feel like this is going to be a Gremlins moment.
No, it's not nearly that bad, but it does perturb me. So they're like, well, the mom, and it's such a sad story. No, it isn't. She got what she deserved.
Yeah, when Kaya eventually does pass away, she has images of her mother, and I was
finally coming back.
Yeah, and
that was weird.
Like,
it didn't work.
Didn't like that at all.
Because she's like, "Mom, you're finally back," and I'm like, she's just gonna leave you again.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Heaven's this way," and then just leave. I'd be like, "Wait, which way was heaven? You left me again!" Kaya says, when I die, I'm just going to become the marsh. And, I'll be the fireflies in the air and the trees and the water and da-da-da. It's because her soul never made it to heaven because her mom abandoned her halfway through the journey. And Kaya's like, shit, I don't know which way heaven is. I guess I'll just go back to the marsh. It's the only place I know.
Stuck in purgatory.
Are we halfway to heaven? Are we halfway to hell? And how long is this going to last?
She's like, oh, to hell with this. I'm just going back to the marsh because her mom abandoned her again. But no, I'm sorry. Okay. The dad given an excuse of a military history for being an abusive drunk. Don't buy it. Doesn't work for me as a person, as an audience member. He can go to hell. And the mom trying to get the children back after the fact and then getting sick after the fact and then passing away with just her sister around because the kids weren't there, and it's all very tragic, except it's not, because she left them. This is all after the fact. I'm sorry, this isn't tragic, it's, what did you think was going to happen? I thought I'd have more time. You should have took 5 more minutes while your husband was passed out to get the kids. They don't have shoes. Everyone knows the thing that takes the longest when getting kids ready is getting their goddamn shoes on. Getting a child's shoes on takes forever. These kids don't have shoes. Just herd them out the door. So no, that was not tragic. I got nothing. That was a wet fart of a moment.
Ooh.
You got anything? Before I carry on to the next part? All right.
Okay.
Did you have anything before I move on to the final bit here?
No.
Not bit as in joke, bit as in the final part of the
final
movie.
part of the
film.
the story.
So
no.
Kaya passes away. And old man Tate is going through her belongings, just reminiscing. Going through old journals and sketchbooks and, just remembering his wife. Where he finds a sketch of Chase Andrews. And he recognizes him. And he's like, oh, And then in the pages, there's a cutout section where he finds the shell necklace that Kaya had made for Chase all those years ago and that Chase wore every day, but that necklace was missing from his body. And even Chase's mom was like, she had to have done it because his necklace is missing, and she's the only one that would want that stupid piece of crap. But the police searched her home. They never found a necklace. So, cool, it's gone, but Kaya doesn't have it, except she does. So now Tate realizes she actually did kill him. All those years ago, she did commit the murder of Chase Andrews. And he doesn't really know how, we see him dwell on it and he thinks about it. And then ultimately he drops the shell onto the beach where it gets swept away by the tides. And that's the end of it. He moves on. Now, go ahead.
Did you see the pages that were before the picture of Chase?
Not just pictures of animals and the praying mantis eating.
There was the praying mantis and there was the firefly.
And that is a common theme throughout, is that Kaya has learned from nature, from her environment. Many animals have created unique ways of survival. I think that's even how she words it.
Yes. She does say in the voiceover, sometimes for prey to live, its predator must die.
Right.
And then written on the fireflies page is, just by changing their signals, female fireflies
got it.
First try.
Nailed it.
Get what they need from a mate, then a meal.
Yeah.
And the praying mantis one is, a female praying mantis eats her mate to fortify her offspring.
Yes. And she even says at another point that she was not going to live in fear anymore.
Right.
So during the trial, the defense attorney paints this whole picture about this poor abandoned girl that everyone has forgotten, that everyone picked on and bullied, that everyone unfairly judged, and that she is a victim of circumstance, that she is the victim of a poor upbringing, that she is a victim of unwarranted reputation, and that if she were to commit the murder, she would have had to go through this wildly improbable sequence of events to actually be there and pull it off and get back in time. The whole scenario for her to be the killer to work it's nonsense. It doesn't work. And so we get this really touching message, not judging a book by its cover, just being good to one another, stand up for each other, be kind, don't let rumor and speculation lead you to judge someone before you know them. And you know what I mean? We get a lot of really nice messages that are now thrown out the window, bounces off the street, they get hit by a bus, then they fly through the air after getting hit by the bus and land in a fire inside of a dumpster. Because that is what this air quote twist ending did. This movie had a really nice message from a cultural standpoint, from a society standpoint, that is then rendered null and void. And what we get is, fuck it. If someone's bad to you, kill them. And you know what? All those weird thoughts you have, the judgments, the rumors you hear, and the speculations about people, you know what? They're probably right. It probably was that weird witch that lives in the marsh, even though we don't know her and she's never spoken a word to us or vice versa. But you know what? She probably is the killer for no other reason than she's a weirdo. Guess what? The weirdo fucking did it. It undermines everything the movie was building towards.
The twist, I don't feel, was necessary. I don't have any issue with Kaya doing the murder. I would rather have just been left up to interpretation than blatantly like, hey, We have the necklace.
Yeah.
You know.
She did it.
Yeah. We could have just been like, well, who actually did it? Did she do it?
Yeah. Or if you want your message to be that this young woman taking her cues and her education from nature, following in nature's footsteps, and it's brutal and it's unforgiving, and she did what she had to do to survive and to live without fear. Okay. But don't paint a story. Don't tell this story. Don't paint a picture about not judging each other and being kind and and this whole do unto others as you would want done to you and all that golden rule nonsense, and just because that's what they did, and it was this really nice story done well until record scratch, they undermine the whole thing, and I'm like, cool, this sucks. Awesome.
Okay.
What were your thoughts?
So we doing final thoughts?
No, I'm asking your thoughts on.
Oh. When the twist happened, when he pulls that necklace out of the sketchbook.
Yeah.
I thought back to what the lawyer was saying. And it didn't work for me.
It doesn't even.
I was like, wait a minute. So you have to do this entire long, complicated thing in a short amount of time. No, I didn't like it. I didn't like the ending.
Even if you take what it does from a storytelling perspective out of it, the message and all the undermining and all that, and just look at it logically, it still doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think like I said, I would have been happier with them just leaving it up to us to determine who did it.
Yeah.
And not really even finalize it. But I didn't take away as you did with the whole, don't, be kind to one another. And then this rips the rug right out from under that. I just took it as you had to make her the killer, like definitively.
Right.
It couldn't have been left just to your imagination.
So do you disagree with my perspective on the film's message?
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I don't have an issue with her doing it. I mean, I think Chase was a piece of shit and he deserves it. And it's basically her prey versus predator type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
She knew that she would never be safe ever if he was still around. And I understand where you're coming from with the whole community looking at her like the wild marsh girl and the witch, and it kind of turns out to be true that that's what she is.
Yeah. But
that didn't bother me so much,
I guess. And throughout the movie, there are plenty of times it's brought up where everyone's like, oh, this thing like the praying mantis eating its mate and that's so gruesome. And she's like, no, not really. She just looks as is, and so there are plenty of indicators, perhaps too many indicators, that she's fine with this idea, right? Because that's just nature. So when the reveal happened, sometimes when my wife says something that I think is funny or insightful, I share it.
Absolutely.
Old man Tate pulls the necklace out, and my wife, who has not read the book and had not seen this movie before, goes, well, that wasn't a surprise, was it? And just deadpan, just so completely like this was such not only did we have the twist or the swerve that in my opinion, undercuts a more important message that the story was trying to tell. You see it coming. You just do. You see it coming.
Yeah, I did. And they could have ended it with the voiceover where she's talking about what did I say? To live. Sometimes for prey to live, the predator must die.
Yeah.
The two pictures of the praying mantis and the firefly that talks about death. And then they turn the page and there's a picture of Chase. They could have left it at that.
With no necklace.
Yeah. And it could have been, oh, well, shit, maybe she did do it with, but no, they had to like hammer it home
that
with
she
the
did it.
necklace.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh, cool. She's just a murderer. And I'm sorry that, guess what? She's not a good person now. This person I've been rooting for, oh no, she's just a murderer.
I wonder what was going through Tate's mind.
Probably quite a bit.
I wonder what he thought when he threw that in the ocean or in the marsh or in the river or wherever the hell they were.
You know what? He was probably thinking the life he had spent with her and the times they had and the memories he had and the work they had done was more important than this particular truth from 60 years ago or, however long it was. Almost like the work this movie had done to deliver a good, upbeat, uplifting, profound message was more important than a cheap twist that everyone saw coming.
I like that.
I'm getting pretty good at this movie review stuff. All right, final thoughts. Let's wrap up this one. All right. I didn't like the characters we weren't supposed to like. I did like the characters we were supposed to like. I didn't care for the ending. And this is one of those movies I would never have watched had it not been for this show. I don't really know why. I have no prejudice or anything against it. I have no reason as to it's not really the typical movie that I sit down and watch. And honestly, neither does my wife. This just isn't our regular kind of movie. But you know what? At the end of the day, I did enjoy it. And I can honestly, despite all this griping I've been doing, which I still feel is well-founded, I did enjoy this movie, and I'm going to vote, without any doubt, worth the ticket price.
Wow. Really? Okay.
If you have a Netflix subscription, check out Where the Crawdads Sings. Watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. And then hit us up in our Q&A and let us know your thoughts. Worth the ticket price, not worth the ticket price. Does a more important theme or a more important message of the story get ruined? Am I off the mark? Let us know. That's what let me know. But if you have the chance, check it out. That's good. I enjoyed it. I haven't read the book. I'm probably not going to. I don't have a ton of time to read. And I have my own TBR list, like most people do, right? So none of these are critiques on the book because that's an entirely separate animal. And we don't know how the book did it. And maybe it makes more sense in the book. Maybe it's done better in the book. I don't know. So this is not a critique on the book itself, just its movie adaptation.
This movie at times felt like a Hallmark movie a few times. Not enough to take me out of it. But when the moments did come, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It was the acting mainly.
Yeah.
But when the moments
what
did
do you
come,
mean?
Are you talking about my acting? But when they did show up, I kept thinking, I'm like, oh man, please don't go down this road. And then it was gone. I thought the scenery, the shots were beautiful. The marsh was awesome. Just all of the cinematography was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed a lot of it. And as far as the acting goes, for the most part, they all did a fairly decent job. Not enough to, me to warrant giving an award or anything.
Just Charlie Sheen.
Just Charlie Sheen. Just the Charlie Sheen. But I, too, hated the ending. It kind of deflated the whole movie for me a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, not enough to make me dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed this movie. I will also say that it's worth the ticket price. If might as well check it out if you have a Netflix thing.
Yeah, if you enjoy these kind of, I guess murder mystery, suspense, somewhat suspenseful love story. I don't know how to classify this movie. It's
none of that. It's all of it, but none of it.
Yeah,
it's weird,
right? It's odd, and I don't say that it's odd in a bad way by any means. Some stuff it does well, some stuff it doesn't, but that's true for anything. But no, yeah, especially if you have Netflix, check it out.
The only real main critique I got about it is I was hoping there was going to be more courtroom stuff,
Yeah.
but that's not even really a main theme of the movie. It's just kind of a here and there.
The courtroom, the trial's almost more just a storytelling device to give us reasons for the flashback
Exactly. Yes.
that explains Kaya's life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. I was expecting more of a courtroom drama
Mhm.
than anything else, and I did not get that.
No.
But again, it didn't really bother me as much as I thought it would, and I'm giving this a worthy watch.
That's right. It is worth it. There we go. Unanimously, Where the Crawdads Sing, worth the ticket price. How about, you know what? As I really thought about it, I was like, I feel like even though there's stuff I didn't like the ending and all that, I gotta say it was worth it. I didn't know where you would land on that either. So there you have it, folks. Give it a watch. Check it out. You might be surprised and let us know what you think. But moving on, do you have our hat, sir?
Yes.
Do you want to pull or you want me to pull?
Oh, I'm pulling.
All
It's
right,
my
he's
turn.
pulling. Okay. He's pulling, he's rummaging.
Okay. Well, this is going to be fun.
Is that good? Wait, is that genuine or is that not genuine?
This is genuine.
Okay.
This is genuine.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. It's Braveheart.
The entire celebration was...
Well, it was ruined. That's all. Completely destroyed.
That's not the worst hint ever. Oh, what did I get you for Christmas? I'll give you a hint. It's a puppy. That's not a hint. You just told me what it was.
Yes, we're doing Mel Gibson's Braveheart.
Mel Gibson! Yeah! Woo!
I knew you'd get excited.
Oh,
So we are doing Mel Gibson
this ship is full
in
mast, baby.
Braveheart.
I am rolling full mast on this ship. You know what that means.
I'm excited for this one.
No, I'm excited.
I can
for
tell you're
this
excited.
one. I'm going to cut the bangs off your forehead, son. Better duck. Braveheart! Braveheart! Freedom! Woo! Yeah! All right, everyone. I'm Jake. That's Tevis. This is Ticket Price, Where the Crawdads Sings. Check it out. Tune in next week. Braveheart! Have a good night. Freedom!